So what I thought I'd do today, just to give you an idea of what we could do during these sessions, is talk about a particular concept. And it's one that's actually been floating around in my brain over the course of the last week or so, although it's actually been present in my thought processes for the last couple of years as I've been involved in forums and across a variety of different sites, including Rec Poker. And that's the concept of bad beats. Bad beats are the thing that everybody experiences. They tilt us out like nothing else. But what I found interesting in looking at how people how people deal with bad beats is the general advice that they get from the poker community is essentially shut up. I've experienced it, you've experienced it. So why are we talking about it? So just accept that they happen, put it in a little box, shove it in the corner, and don't look at it whenever it rears its ugly head. If you're a bad poker player, if you talk about bad beats. And I think that in a lot of respects is pretty short-sighted in a lot of respects. I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain how a better approach to dealing with bad beats might put you on better footing over the long term in terms of your poker career. Now, why is it a long-term problem? Well, first and foremost, you have to understand that bad beats are going to happen. If you have aces and you get it all in pre-flop, regardless of the hand that you're going to go up against, you have probably no better than an 85% edge, which means 15% of the times you're going to get beat badly, and you could lose a large amount of money when that happens. You have to be willing to do that. I'm not going to change people's perception that you should run away from getting it all in pre-flop with pocket aces, because that's where you make actually most of your money in poker. So you have to be willing to accept the fact that 15% of the time you're going to lose. But that doesn't change the fact that it hurts, that you experience a great deal of pain when you do lose that. And that's why it's called a beatdown, a bad beat, is because you were supposed to win. You were the favorite by a pretty significant degree. And currently, your opponent, when they draw out on you and crack your aces, is essentially dancing on the ashes of the money that you had to push their way. I've been playing for 5 years, 6 years, and I still get upset every single time it happens. And I am not too proud to admit that I have said very bad words when they occur, and been quite angry for a period of time after that. It's normal, it's natural, and you really shouldn't be upset about the fact that you get upset when something that's important to you occurs. And I think that to essentially just put that aside, to pretend it doesn't happen, to never talk about it as if it's nothing, really crushes what poker is for so many people, which is a social game. It's an opportunity to play something where money's involved, and the money's important in many respects. But for a lot of people, it's the fun that's associated with those highs and lows. We have entire sports agent, entertainment business events and opportunities where people participate in part because of the specific activity that's going on, but really to be a part of that emotional ups and downs that comes with being a sports fan or an individual who's playing a sport. All of those things matter. We want to be good at them. We want more wins if we can get them, more highs, but the lows allow us some contrast, but also the ability to talk about those things with a variety of people in our environment will help to form a sense of community, form a sense of, well, this happens to lots of people. We can share in this experience. The truth of the matter is that human beings are social animals for the most part. And there's actually quite huge problems if you actually don't engage to some degree socially, or at least experience that. We can't survive without social environments. It's not always just a matter of having a bunch of group of people around you to fight if your life is in danger, but we can't create enough technology to defend ourselves by ourselves. We've really thrived because we socialize, because we're interested in sharing our experiences and our knowledge with other people. So we need to be able to do that. And that's why Rec Poker exists, because it's an opportunity for people to share in their experiences, to learn from everybody else's knowledge, at the same time contribute if they have some knowledge to present and feel good about it. So shoving the concept of bad beats into the corner and only sharing in the good things is not really sharing or feeling supported entirely. And so we want to be able to have some opportunities in order to talk about these things without actually boring anybody that we're talking to or feeling like we're going to be punished for it. So, given that the basic knowledge and the basic advice out there is, well, you should forget about bad beats and just not talk about them and never bring them up. I think it's important to think about another concept to give you an idea of why this would be a bad idea or why it doesn't work very well. And the metaphor that I talked about is, or that I came up with, is this idea of talking about traffic, right? We all have driven on highways. We all have experienced traffic. How many people have had conversations when they get to work with their coworkers about traffic? Probably everybody, right? Everybody experiences it. Everybody complains about it when it occurs. Um, Talking to somebody about traffic during that time doesn't serve any purpose in terms of eliminating the traffic. It doesn't cause them to be any less late to work at that time. It doesn't fix any of the problems associated with being stuck behind 600,000 cars and unable to get to your destination on time, despite the fact that you need to be there. So then why do we do it? Why do other people listen to that? Again, because it's given an opportunity to feel supported, to feel as if you can provide some discussion of something that's upsetting you, share that information, and hopefully in many respects, feel a little better about it. Doesn't fix it, but feeling a little better about it makes it somewhat better. Why do we listen to other people when they tell their traffic stories? Well, because we're going to have our own traffic stories at some point. We're going to be listening to an individual who is telling us about their traffic story, and we want them to listen to our traffic story because it will make us feel a little bit better at a later point. So this shared contract of talking about problems that we have on a day-to-day basis that may not be huge, they don't have to be life-threatening, but bother us and create negative emotional states, allows us to ameliorate those states to a small degree and move on with our day and feel like there are people in the environment who have heard us and felt better for the talking. And then again, we can feel like, well, if I listen to this person, then at a later point, they'll listen to me. That's important. And I think that that can be pretty useful going forward. So where does this become a problem? Why is the basic advice that people have given to essentially put those bad beats away? Well, if your coworker came in and started talking to you every single day about traffic, the same traffic over and over and over and over and over again, and never actually did anything about it, simply whined about it, simply didn't recognize that that bad traffic happens to everybody at some point, and that it's not an unreasonable thing to experience, and perhaps got the woe is me, traffic is terrible for me, why is this happening to me approach. Well, that's a problem because it speaks to the fact that you're not really trying to share with somebody a little upset and get a little better. You're really kind of stuck on it. And that being stuck will cause you to ruminate on it and never actually experience the improvement or the hope from it. Recognizing some perspective, recognizing that it happens to other people will help you feel better about your traffic problem. Furthermore, if you're listening to somebody talk about traffic over and over and over again, and you know that there's another highway about 6 blocks over, that if they just simply looked at the GPS, took the other route and went that other route, they wouldn't have the traffic problem. And they kept running into the same problem and never actually fixed the problem that they were experiencing, you'd get kind of annoyed because all you're doing is listening to them complain about the same problem. They never make any improvements in terms of what they're doing. And as a result, never actually get better. And you will be stuck listening to the same traffic complaint over and over and over again for the remainder of their days without any hopes that they'll actually make a change so you can talk about something else. And I think that that's the problem with bad beat stories, is that so many people personalize it to say, well, this is something that's happening to me and only to me. And then I'm never actually going to study, get better, and move beyond that. You probably are looking to do that. People don't go onto a learning site or a social site for the purposes of just spending money or just spending time there. You're looking to improve your game to some degree. And as a result, it's probably a lot less likely that you're spending all of your time talking about the bad beats that you're experiencing with no idea about how you're going to improve it. Maybe not even any recognition that you could be causing or contributing to the bad beats that you're experiencing by making bad plays. So I think it's less likely that when you as a player bring up bad beats in a variety of settings, that you're really getting stuck in this vortex of woe is me, the chance is out to get me, and I can't win at this game simply because the universe is aligned against me. So if you think about it in those terms, and you actually are willing to look at your own behavior, look at your own play, make some changes if necessary, and also recognize that with perspective that these bad beat stories are somewhat helpful in the short term, and they're not going to simply be something that you complain about for the remainder of your days and bore everybody around you. There really probably is no bad outcome to complaining about a bad beat. Just get some perspective on it, and then it's fine. And I think that for other people who are may already have reached that, or are here listening to somebody talk about a bad beat, don't talk about it immediately as a, well, dude, this happens to everybody. It does. And they have to be capable of moving beyond that if they're going to continue to play in the game. But listening, providing some feedback, providing some opportunity to just say, yeah, I've been there, is oftentimes enough in order to make improvements going forward. And I think that it's kind of unfortunate if too many people cut that socialization off. Truly, if we don't talk about bad beats, then we really don't have any good reason to talk about our good beats, right? When we beat other people, when we make scores, when we win money and in different pots, because that's also a form of sharing. And we're only doing about 50% of what sharing should include. I hope that this is helpful to you going forward. I hope that conversations like this that look at concepts that people have said and make broad determinations based on what's the psychological best approach, and providing you some perspective of what an alternate approach might be, will be useful in the future. We're going to delve into a lot of different things. We're going to even look at some of the scientific literature in the hopes of saying, well, what does science really say about this? Not just what are people's opinions of how people behave, but what is science saying that people behave? And hopefully that will be useful to you.